Hello, FreeBody family. Kat Matlock here at FreeBody in Asheville, where we help you understand the body, understand pain, and give you a path to freedom. Today, I'm really excited to kick off a playlist to really help you understand pain referral patterns. One of the really tricky things about trigger points is that sometimes you have a trigger point over here, but you're feeling it over here. And you might be rolling around on a ball, you got a deep ache in your butt, you're rolling around on a ball in that spot, feels like the right thing, but it's actually not. It doesn't fix the problem. Why is that? How come I roll around on balls and I roll the area that hurts and it doesn't help? Well, I unpacked that through an interview with Stu Wild, one of the top trigger point therapists in the country, when I was like, tell me, break this down for me, help me to understand that. So the full interview is on this channel, which I'll link to in the description. And you can read about it in the FreeBody book, which I highly recommend you get because it explains all kinds of aspects of pain. I'll link that in the description as well. Okay, I'm gonna give you the in a nutshell version of why we have pain referral. So the way Stu described it is this: theory, right? So much about our bodies is theory and our best understanding. So currently, our best understanding is that nerves are near each other in the spinal cord. Nerves are receiving information from muscles. Stu broke it down for me like this. He said, our nerves are constantly receiving information about the state of our body on the inside. And there are areas of the body that are talking to a specific nerve. And the area of the body that is sending messages to the nerve is called that nerve's receptive field. It's the place in the body where the nerve is receiving information and giving it information about the status of that area. Some of that is pain, or that there's something going on there. When that nerve, there's maybe a trigger point in a muscle, and that field, that area is sending information to this nerve here in the spinal cord, it might be overloaded, like, whoo, so much electricity, so much information coming from this area that's stuck in contraction, a trigger point. So that nerve can't handle all of that information. The nerve next to it starts to take on some of that electricity and some of that information. So basically, nerves next to each other, nerve number one is receiving information from its receptive field. It's overflowing. The nerve next to it starts to pick up some of that overflow, and it goes, oh, there's aching going on over here. So you might have a trigger point in your gluteus minimus, and it might be causing that deep ache in your buttocks. So that is called an expansion of receptive fields. And that's our current understanding of why, when you have a trigger point, it doesn't always hurt. You don't feel the pain where the trigger point lives, but you might feel it somewhere else. Well, that sounds a little overwhelming and confusing if you're trying to figure out where your pain is coming from. Well, luckily for us, doctors Janet Travell, the queen mother of trigger point therapy, and David Simons made maps for us to follow. So trigger point pain patterns, trigger point pain referral patterns have been mapped out, taking in information from thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands, now probably millions of people all around the world who are like, yeah, I have this deep ache in my butt, and yeah, I have this trigger point right here. So luckily, we have these maps to follow, and I have those maps emblazoned on my brain. So I'm going to go through different areas of the body where you're feeling pain and help you understand where that pain might be coming from. And there might be a few different trigger points that could refer, let's say, that deep ache in the butt that could be coming from gluteus minimus, gluteus medius, quadratus lumborum. So once you have an idea of where to go, then you can be really methodical about your self-trigger point release and actually be successful in getting out of pain. So that's my specialty, is understanding where the pain comes from and guiding you in how to release those places. So kicking off our pain referral pattern playlist, here for you today, I'm going to start by launching into some understanding about gluteus minimus and false sciatica. This is one of the biggest issues that I have seen in the last 31 years of working with people, tens of thousands of people. So many people come to me with sciatica diagnosis, piriformis syndrome diagnosis, and they're not getting better. And I'm going to help you understand that. Let's go to the next part. Okay, welcome back. Let's settle in and have a conversation about the gluteus minimus, the sciatica imitator muscle. This conversation is going to be so helpful to you if you have sciatica symptoms and they're not getting better. Everyone wants to blame your piriformis. Maybe you even have a herniated disc. I had all those things. They were not the cause of my sciatica pain. And it took me years to really put it together and figure out that it was actually gluteus minimus. And this was many years ago. And it really got me deeper into my trigger point understanding and practice. So what is gluteus minimus? Gluteus minimus is a little muscle with a big attitude on the side of your hip. It works with its best friend, gluteus medius, to lift the legs out to the side in abduction, to stabilize the femur in the socket. I call it the rotator cuff of the hip, glute min and glute med. And they also can pull the pelvis down on one side. Now, this is often the beginning of some real trouble with the gluteus minimus muscle. If you have one hip higher than the other because you always stand on one side or sit on one leg or whatever it is, that could be leading you to have trigger points in your glute min muscles. Now, part of that is that often it's on the high hip side, that trouble, because glute min is like, oh. And so if you just go in and release your glute min and you don't address the other muscles in the system, it's going to be difficult for you to clear those trigger points for good and get out of pain. And that was my experience. I'd get on a ball of my glute min, my pain referral would light up, and I was like, this is it. But until I released the other muscles in the system, I wasn't successful in getting rid of those trigger points for good. So I just want to put that out there. So the pain referral patterns of the glute min muscle are a deep ache in the buttock, aching along the side of the hip or along the pelvis, maybe some pain in the hip joint itself. Radiating can be lightning-like pain kind of down the hamstring, could go into the calf. You might feel some pain along the iliotibial band. And I made a playlist, all 7 days of getting free of iliotibial band pain. We'll put a link in the description of that playlist so that you can go methodically through all the muscles in the system and get rid of that iliotibial band pain. So that iliotibial band pain could continue even down into the outer calf and even the shin and to the foot. All of that, deep ache in the buttock, hamstring, calf, hip, and iliotibial band, even into the shin, all of that pain could be coming from just a couple little spots in that poor gluteus minimus that is just really trying so hard to stabilize your femur in the socket every step you take. So you might notice that when you first start walking, your symptoms get a little better, like, okay, I got it going, everything's gonna be okay. But then over time, as you're walking and that glute min is working really hard and contracting, trying to stabilize that femur in the socket, it gets exhausted and then it really starts to ache. So that's a common arc that I see with glute min trigger point pain. I also hear when I lay on that side, it hurts, but then I lay on the other side and that hurts too. Then you know, yeah, that's outer hips, glute min, glute med, and you have to really address that system to get rid of that pain. So I'm going to put a link down in the description also for if you have one hip higher than the other, what to do about that. What are the areas that you need to release? One of them is glute min and glute med, but interestingly, often you start on the opposite side of the pain. So for example, my right hip was sitting really high. My glute min and glute med on my right side were like, trying so hard to pull that pelvis down to level my pelvis and stabilize the femur in the socket. I had to release the left side glute min and glute med. And so I describe all of that in this. What do you do if you have one hip higher than the other? So I'm going to link how to tell if you have one hip higher than the other. I made that video for you. And then what to do if the right hip is high and what to do when the left hip is high. My right hip was high. My pain was on my right side. Yes, I had a herniated disc. No, that wasn't causing my pain. Yes, I had a tight piriformis. No, that wasn't causing my pain or my symptoms. Piriformis syndrome is another thing we'll address later in this playlist. But this gluteus minimus, the pseudo-sciatica or sciatica imitator muscle, as named by Drs. Travell and Simon, really nailed it. And when I first laid on a ball, I was like, oh, there it is, there it is. And it was such a huge relief to me to feel that all light up, because then I knew I was on the right track. So just a reminder, no muscle works in a vacuum. Everything is a part of a system. I'm going to link to you how to release trigger points in the glute min. I really want you to look and see, do you have one hip higher than the other? That's often the cause. And do you have a tendency to stand on one leg more than the other? You want to stand up on both feet, try to level your pelvis so that you're not constantly reinforcing that pattern. I talk about that in the book also. Posture and how you stand and how you hold yourself has a big effect. So I trust you found this glute min pain referral pattern video really helpful. Please drop a comment, ask a question. Let me know if this struck a nerve with you or struck a chord with you. Does this make sense? Let me know what you're struggling with. I'm happy to help you. Also, I see clients telehealth online, and I can give you step-by-step instructions of how to take care of your body and get out of pain. I also, about once a year, run a cohort of folks suffering with sciatica pain. We address all these trigger point patterns. I'm adding somatic practices in. We attend to the stress of the pain. We attend to the movements that cause pain. And it's a really holistic way of addressing sciatica pain. So we'll drop a link that you can sign up for the sciatica newsletter so you'll be the first to know when I'm launching the next cohort so that you could join us if that resonates with you. So have a great day. I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Give a like, give a thumbs up, share this with your friends who are suffering with sciatica, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.